Welcome, amazing realtors, investors, estate sale companies, financial planners, and anybody else I might be leaving out from across the country. Today is Thursday, January 24th, 2019, and this is Mastermind call number 212.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, good. You're here? Who's that, Tim or Chad?
Me, and Chad is on his way, bud. We were just in a meeting, and we just got finished. Sorry we're running a little bit late.
Not a problem. All right, awesome. Well, now we got to start being nice to these guys. They're here now. We take back everything we just said. Welcome, everyone. I was just did the introduction, turned on the recording, so actually your timing is perfect. I was just trying to encourage people to share their success stories. I was saying before we turned the recording on, we hear a dozen of them every week, and then for some reason agents are kind of shy about coming on and bragging, and it isn't bragging. It's, allowing others to benefit from, what's working for you. Let us know. We just completed an awesome case study of someone that's been with us for 4 years, and we'll send that out to the crew. Tim, anything you want to share as the CEO this week?
Actually, the main thing I would say is that we are doing some really cool stuff with the LeadFollow product, and there are a lot of good things happening with that. We're starting to get some our first sets of responses in for that. That's working well. That's maybe something that Chad will talk about, but we've got Chad here, we've got Ben here, and we're working on a lot of things with that this week. We're also making a change. I will bring one other thing up, and that's this, that I had an interesting conversation this morning with one of our folks who works for us in terms of making outbound calls, and one of the things we were talking about is how to improve what we do, and we constantly look at things like that. And he was talking about outbound, or not outbound, but people who are non-resident owners, and that those are typically the best people that they get to talk to because they really are struggling to try to find something to make it work, and it's always an appreciated call. And one of the things that has led us to do, and what we're going to do, is put an increased amount of emphasis on working with you guys to come up with maybe even some product-focused things that specifically cater to the person who just inherited the opportunity to deal with a piece of property in Nebraska, and they're currently living in New York City. So we're gonna focus some energy in the future real quickly on out-of-town owners, and that was not a revelation. We know that those are good, but we're going to add some product and give you even a better approach to dealing with that and some training on it.
That's great. I know here in South Florida, I found 98% of mine were elsewhere, and there's markets where maybe it's not as high, but I think nationwide, a significant percentage of them, do not live there. The heir is, moved back home or moved elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tim.
and those are the people that literally the service, if we go back to our service wheel, those are literally the people that could benefit the most from that, because if they can find an agent that they trust in a specific market that can help them get that done, and if we can help our folks become that person and help them build their credibility to get that done, that's a great help to do that. And we're even adding, and we already commissioned this to get done this morning, we're going to make a change to the website product that we're offering to add that as a specific and focused page on the website, specifically catering to out-of-town owners. So we got that message pretty clearly this morning, and that's where our stuff always comes from. It's learning what we're doing.
Excellent. Chad, anything you'd like to share from add to what Tim said, or from a training perspective?
Excuse me. I have so Ben and I shot a lot of videos as LeadFollow has evolved. Even we have a hard time keeping up with everything that's changing as we discover and learn new things and optimize ad sets. So I have made some videos to update the LeadFollow page, as well as kind of an overall look at what you should expect from all the leads in 2019. So over the next day or two, you'll see some emails that'll kind of bring you up to speed. So you can kind of understand what we're working on in the background and where we're headed, and more importantly, what's already available to you that you might not know about. So just keep an eye out. We're trying to do as best a job we can to communicate everything that we're working on to you guys, but we're running pretty fast. So you'll see some of those updates from Ben and I later this week.
Perfect. I know you just finished Mastery, Chad, and everyone seems to get longer and better. Any new insights from Mastery, or any summary you want to share with the group from the latest Mastery course?
Well, we broke the all-time record. We had 79 people in Mastery. 19 of them were people who had already been through the course, and one of them had been through this was her 6th time, I believe, that she had sat through Mastery.
Wow.
And it's always interesting to me how, I don't know, how different each one is based on like where we go in the Q&A. So anyone who's been in Mastery, if you haven't already, please go to Facebook and type in Probate Mastery Alumni and join our group. There's probably 700 of us that have CPEs in the country, but there's only about 150 of us in the group. So anyone who has previously taken Mastery, if you haven't found the group yet, it's just getting started. So check out Probate Mastery Alumni on Facebook, and there's a couple questions to get into the group. But there we've got like only Mastery students that are, set up role play groups, and they're helping each other with marketing and different questions. And so for no older than the group is, I'm pretty pleased with where that is. So be sure and check that
Sure.
out. And then later, hopefully by tomorrow, I'll have new CPE badges and logos. We're kind of being a little more deliberate about branding Probate Mastery and the Certified Probate Expert designation. So that's coming later in the week as well.
And Chad, for those, whether you took Mastery or not, or even if it's the first time on the call, you can also go to All the Leads Mastermind and join that group. And it's incredible. I've never seen anyone post a question in there that one of our members didn't get back to them before we were able to answer. It's a really good community where you can get really quick, real-time, real-world answers to anything you're struggling with. And just go to All the Leads Mastermind and request access to that group. Chad just verifies that you're in some real estate-related industry, and then he'll let you in. And anything else you want to say about that, or how many members do we have in the Facebook All the Leads Mastermind? Do you know?
So we're right at 3,000, and everyone in the group has been vetted. And if anyone doesn't belong there, they get unvetted pretty quickly. So it's a relevant group. It's people that are actually applying what we're discussing here and what you guys are trying to build in your business. So really, really neat community.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Tom, anything you would like to share with the group?
Just always a reminder that we're here to help. If you need anything, just reach out to us. Easiest way is to send an email to support@alltheleads.com. If you're in your account area under support, there's a contact us. We track all those and then assign it to the appropriate person to get back to you. So be as specific as possible. And also for those primarily new people, I do a orientation session and also discuss the implementation of your marketing plan once you sign up. And I normally try to get those things scheduled within the first 2 or 3 days. So if you haven't had one, please just let support know, and we'll get something scheduled. That's it.
Excellent. Let's dive into our calls. We have 4 people in the queue. We generally have to shut the queue off about 1:30 Eastern, so you got about another 20 minutes to get in there. Nothing's out of bounds. Questions, comments, wins, frustrations, just hit *6 and then hit 1. And let's go ahead and take the first person in the queue. Is phone number ending in 1144. You're up first.
Yes, this is Joe Lehman in Montgomery, Alabama.
Hey, Joe.
I've been an agent in the real estate business for quite some time, but I have never done probate. And I first became aware of ATL yesterday. I watched an hour and 18-minute video last night, and if I understood correctly, I could choose to have your direct mail service without the lead follow-up phone call service. I could do the phone calls myself.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yep. So we encourage everybody to, make your own phone calls. The only reason the main reason we have an ISA center is if it simply wasn't getting done, we gave our customers a fallback, so it still gets done and there's still revenue there. Same thing with the mailing business. When we first started, we didn't know we were going to be in the mailing business or have a call center or do digital marketing. Those are all things that we saw the need because we kind of saw choke points for you guys. So those services were kind of rolled into our offering. But there's nothing that you're required to buy. You can just sign up for a lead subscription. You can do your own mail. I don't recommend it because you won't get it done cheaper than we can. But you can certainly make your phone calls cheaper. And ideally, we want you to be, to take it all the way to the finish line versus us, fielding the first phase of calls and then handing it to you to take to the finish line. But if that's not going to happen, we've got your back. We can make sure they still get done.
Okay. And Darcy can set that up for me?
Yep, she can help you get set up with anything that we offer.
Okay, perfect. And is Jim Sullivan on here?
I am, yes, sir. That's me.
Jim, did you coach with Mike Ferry years ago?
I sure did, and your name sounds very familiar. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I started coaching with Mike in 1995.
I remember you, sir. You have an unmistakable accent.
Well, I always said American by birth and Southern by the grace of God. So.
Yep, I remember you well, Joe. I haven't talked to you in probably 15 years, but it's great to hear from you.
Yeah, I was not with Mike for about a 10-year period. I worked for Cry-Like Realtors out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look on the Public Broker Report, they're about the sixth largest company in the country for closed sides. But it's all
that's great.
Held, so.
Well, please call me off the call and we'll catch up. My direct line's 99. Anybody that wants to call me directly, 954-400-3500. I'd love to talk to you.
Okay, thank you. And all
right, buddy. All right,
that's my question.
Good.
I'm
all right, good to hear from you. Thanks for participating. Next up is phone number ending in 8947. You're up next.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So, a couple questions. One, this is the first time we've been here with you guys for the Mastermind. Is there somewhere online to follow along? Are we missing something visual? Or is it just a phone call?
Right now, it's just a phone call. We archive these online, so on our website, you can go to a video archive or an audio archive. Right now, the videos are just a thumbnail. I think we're moving in the direction of using Zoom to do these, so that it'll actually be a video call in the future. If you want to do that, you can dial in or you can look at our pretty faces.
I just was missing something. And then the next question. So we just started with the system, just started checking out the links for everything. So now that we're kind of here, is the next step for us signing up for leads now that we've got, 179 paid and all that, or is that a little further down the line? Basically, should we just get leads now, or do you recommend we really learn the system before we start spending money on that?
The system is designed so that you can do it all today. So when you sign up, when you sign up for subscription, you'll get the first time you log in, the fast track training will pop up, and over 48 minutes you'll be ahead of 90% of real estate professionals in the country. And then next up, you go set up your letters in our online editor, pull the trigger on the mail campaign, and so you're going to have a week of kind of lead time from the day you sign up. You'll probably have about a week of time to get everything set up and learn what you need to know, and be off with your first campaign. And a lot of folks early in have the question of, well, I see value that you guys teach, build a team to kind of look like a vertically integrated service and really differentiate yourself, but I don't have that team. I got to go do this and this and this. The reality is there's enough conversation and ideas in our call archives and in our groups. If you had $1 million deal on your desk today, you would have each one of those team members by the end of business today. I promise. It's not that hard to do. So it's a lot to digest. Even understanding everything we offer and can automate for you is a lot to digest. But you can easily sign up today and be on the phones next week.
Okay, so where do we get all this information? We didn't really get a lot of guidance info on where to even find anything. So is this an all the leads thing that you're talking about? We create an account there and log in? Okay.
So the best thing to do is call the main phone number on the top. If you go to alltheleads.com, call that number and ask for sales, and we can kind of walk you through everything that's available to you, sign you up for what you want to start with, and then it'll all start to take shape as we'll do an orientation with you and kind of show you where everything is and kind of what best practices and first steps are. And it all starts to make a whole lot of sense once if you say, hey, this is for me, then in the next 24 hours, it'll make a lot more sense to you.
Okay, cool. I was just trying to figure out all the tie-ins. So, okay.
The other thing that you need to be aware of as well is that once you get started with us, the process that we look at is we kind of have a general idea based on your county and what you're looking for when those leads are going to come in. So our job is to make sure that by the time those leads are available to you and you are ready to go start monetizing them, we've helped you. If you're going to use us to do your mailings, which we certainly suggest that you do if that makes sense for you, that they're ready to go. We've already, put that together for you. If you need, a credibility website to make yourself, feel comfortable about referring people to that explains that, we'll have that ready for you as well. And we turn all that around pretty quickly so that you're never sitting there when your leads come in. You're ready to go and start making money. The rest of this is tweaking and getting it better and better and better. And you go through mastery and learn how to do that. You build your team and you've got more to offer, and it's a building process, but it doesn't happen overnight. But over a 30, 60, 90-day period, you'll have a great team put together.
Okay. All right, cool. I think is that it? I'm asking my business partner over here. Yep, okay, we're good with the questions and answers. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The only thing I was going to add, I get that question a lot because I head up the sales department. You'd be surprised. This is basically, more often than not, this is just a motivated absentee owner. Yes, you provide an extra level of service, but like Chad said, it doesn't take you long to figure out how to do that. In a matter of an hour, you can go through all the training. The attorney handles all the legal aspects of the probate, so you don't have to go to law school to be able to do this. It's not as complicated as a lot of agents want to make it. It is. There's a lot of extra things you can do to make yourself much more professional, but essentially you're dealing with a motivated, often absentee owner, and I'm sure everybody's had those before. You're just going to provide a extra level of service here, and it doesn't take that long to do it. So, great question though. Thank you. We're getting a lot of newbie questions today, which is fine. Do we have any veterans that want to jump on and share their experiences? Hit *6 and hit 1. We only have 2 more people in the queue, guys. We got plenty of time for more, and we are still looking for our win of the week. Next up is phone number ending. Hit *6 and hit 1 if you'd like to get in the queue. And next up is phone number ending in 5633. You're up next.
Yes. I am a newbie. I'm very new. And I just listened to some of the information that was asked previously, and that gave me a start because at this point, I am so new. The only thing that I'm getting right now is probate data, and I wasn't aware of all these other things. So how do I find out about the other things that are available to me?
Tom, you want to jump in? Have you done your orientation call yet with Tom?
I haven't done any. No, I have not. That's why I said that this is all new to me. I didn't even know you had an orientation call at all. So
when did you? How long have you been with us? When did you sign up?
I signed up. Last year.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and that's why I'm surprised. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really missing out.
I promise you, Tom has tried to get a hold of you. I've got your phone number here. As soon as we're done, I will pass it on to him. Is the number you're calling from the best number to reach you at?
No, this is not.
Okay, I don't want you to give your phone number out on the call. But what's your last name?
Why don't you
Davis.
Davis. Okay.
Okay, got it.
This is Tom. Also, You can just send an email to support@alltheleads.com and just say you have not had your orientation. They'll get that to me, and I'll get with you and set it up for you. Not a problem.
Okay. That is called support
At alltheleads.com.
at allleads.com. Okay. All right. I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Sure. All the
Thank
leads.
you.
Said all leads, alltheleads.com.
All the leads.
Leads.com. Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you. We'll get that done. We'll get you caught up. All right. We have 4 more in the queue. Good job, guys. We do have room for more. We got 5 now. Excellent. Phone number ending in 2264. You're up next.
Yes, I've been with you a few months now, and I just had a couple. We're getting our first and only listing so far active today. And,
awesome.
I haven't talked to the attorney yet because he was waiting to get permission from the seller, but I guess I'll talk to him today.
Well,
but
so far you're the seasoned veteran compared to the other people. 3 months with us, so that's great. Tell us about your first listing, and we'll put you in for the winner of the week.
Oh, it just our first listing was I subscribed up for everything, so you called them and the fellow called me back, and so but that was the only one I've ever talked to, and that's what I was going to ask about. Is that it's a small county, so I'm only getting 15 to 20 leads a month, but the ISAs call them once, and then they and that's it, I guess. And then they for the most part they don't answer, which is my biggest problem out here. People don't answer their phone, and I was wondering if there was a way to get them to call more often or call until they get somebody to answer.
Sure.
They had left a message, and this fellow did call me back directly, which kind of took me by surprise at the time because I didn't know that they had my number, but he had a message. So
Before Chad answers, congratulations! You're converting 100% of the people you're talking to, right? You talked to one guy, you took the listing. Good job.
Well, my ever since I've been in real estate, if I can talk to somebody, I'll get the listing. It's rare that I don't talk to somebody, but my biggest problem out here has been and the reason I started with All Leads is that I just can't talk to anybody anymore. They just don't answer the phone out here. They're just beat up so much that from being assaulted by constant barrage of calls and letters by agents that they just don't answer the phone anymore. They screen you out.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know if there's a way to get a hold of these people. I did try your introductory Facebook ads, but I think it's until I get some more listings, it's too expensive to keep going every month on it.
Yep. So the way you ordered your one phone call in that order form, you can continue to set up as many touches as you would like. So if you wanted to set up a 3-call campaign, you just simply say, make phone call number 1 on this date, phone call number 2 on this date, number 3, and so on. And we'll only bill you for the work that's being done. So let's just say you set up a year-long $10,000 phone call campaign. We wouldn't charge you $10,000 up front. Basically, when the system pulls your order and initiates a caller, then you'll get charged for that round of the campaign only. So it's a manageable cost. We're cognizant of that it's you've committed to $10,000, but we realize we're going to try to piecemeal it out so you have cash flow, right? So you can set up more calls, and my other suggestion was going to be using LeadFollow in conjunction with your campaign, but it sounds like you've already ran a LeadFollow campaign, the digital marketing.
Your LeadFollow, yes, I took up on your beta testing, but I haven't signed up for more of that. Okay, so LeadFollow it's still going to be my suggestion, regardless of I won't say regardless of. I would say a wise thing to do is take the income off of the listing that you're just about to get or you've gotten. Take that income and reinvest it. LeadFollow is one of the best places you can do that because we can, for a fraction of the cost of mail or subsequent mail or phone calls, we can target them up to 25 times a day. They can see your ads. And if you get into, and this is something that you'll see in the update videos when I get them out to you guys, but in the $500 and $1,000 budget level,
we're introducing something called LeadFollow Addressable. So we'll actually draw a geofence around the deceased last known address and the personal rep's mailing address. Any device that comes into those two properties will pick up our pixel, and so whether it's kids or family members or friends coming for a potluck or to help clean the house out or an estate sale, so there's a massive amount of cross-pollination. Any device that comes into either of those addresses gets followed for the length of your campaign, which would be at minimum 30 days. That's in addition to video ads, GIF ads, single image ads, carousel ads, all that stuff happening on Facebook. The LeadFollow Addressable is happening off of Facebook. We're actually targeting 350 ad networks that are spanning over 600,000 individual websites and apps. So they can't hide. Like anywhere they are in the world, on any app, any device, if there's available ad space, they are going to see your ads. And we're finding, like last night, we just ran the first, like in the last 18 hours, 12 to 18 hours, we were able to get over 1,500 impressions with 5 clicks, and we spent $7 for one of our customers on Long Island. So your money goes a long ways in getting impressions, and we're spending a lot of time figuring out how to better convert them once we get them to the landing page. So if expense is your biggest concern because you're just getting started, LeadFollow is a great way to get a ton of exposure for a fraction of the cost of ISA campaigns.
But as I sent an email in, but I didn't get a straight answer. Was that $1,000 a month, or
if you go to that level? So yes, that's a monthly budget.
So all those charges are monthly then. Okay.
They're monthly, but what we're doing right now, we'll go back as far back as and this, since you're relatively new, it's not that applicable, I guess, but we'll go back as far as 12 months to build your audience, and we're marketing for $1,000. We'll market to 12 months of leads for the next 30 days across hundreds of thousands of different sites and apps.
Mm-hmm.
So the longer you're with us, the more value, the bigger your audience becomes and the more exposure you'll have. So in month 3, 4, 5, we'll be marketing to all the lists you've ever had for the same amount.
And Chad, that's the top tier. You can start at, $150 a month.
$150 is the base, like our base program, and that's basically going to get you Facebook image ads. And when we were doing it in the beta test, we were running four different images and 4 different sets of copy, and so we had several combinations. Now we have hundreds of combinations of images, copy. Some are presenting a domain, some are presenting a phone number. So we literally have hundreds of ads running just for you in a campaign. So even at the $150 level, there's no marketing agency in this country that will run as many ad sets as we're running for the price, because we've built software to allow us to do that. We've built software that will scale that, where a human ran ad agency just couldn't do this. And that's how we can offer what a lot of people would pay between $800 and $1,000 a month. We can offer for $150. And our $1,000 stuff, like that's what Cox and AT&T and like big media companies are. That's the level we have you operating in for $1,000. Like the most progressive things that are being used in digital marketing right now.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
One more thing. I was wanting to know about when they make the phone calls. They have contacted a few of them, though I wasn't able to reach them. But if they would let me know which on the report which phone call they actually answered, which phone number, because a lot of these have 2 or 3 phone numbers, and they'll say they contacted someone and spoke to them, but I don't know which phone number that was. You know what I mean?
That's a valid point, and a lot of times that's in the notes. It's like, spoke to Joe, he was on the 4578 number. And if it's not in the notes field, I feel like it should be. So if you looked in the notes field and you don't see a note of where they were contacted, that's definitely a suggestion. We'll take into consideration starting today.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I had a couple
All
like
right.
that, and I called all the numbers trying to figure out who it was they talked to, which number they caught the guy on.
Hey, but congratulations, great start, and we appreciate you participating. We have 7 more in the queue, guys. We're going to cut the queue off now. 7 should take us up to the top of the hour, and we'll be able to get to everyone. We try to limit the calls to 5 minutes, but we're never going to cut anyone off. You know, and we do want to try to get to everyone in the queue. So if you can be as brief as possible, we appreciate it. The next one up is phone number ending in 4164. You're up next.
Hi, Jim. I think that's you. I recognize your voice from our conversation yesterday. This is Frank.
Hey, Frank. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. As you know, I haven't purchased the program yet, and you invited me to attend the call, so I did that today.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Thanks for doing that. Next up is phone number ending in 3110. You're up next.
Hey guys, this question is for Chad. It's Matt. How you doing, Chad?
Hey, Matt. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. So I actually have 2 questions, but they're both related to each other. So through my financial planner, I got introduced to I call it dream clients, or so I thought. Actually, is a court appointed for guardianship. So when someone doesn't step up or there's a dispute, the attorney is appointed. So I actually met with him. The financial planner let me know. He said he wasn't real enthused about meeting, but he agreed to meet me. I met him. It went really well. What I got out of the conversation was, though, everything that he is doing on behalf of the estate, he is billing actually the estate at $250 an hour, because I was asking him how I could help him or take some of the relief off of him, what he found most challenging. And he didn't seem real motivated. The 2 things that came up, he's like, look, he goes, I get paid $250 an hour to do this stuff. That was the first thing that came to mind. And he said, and he goes, 2 years ago, I say company, but there was someone out of Baltimore. When I showed him the trifold brochure, he said was doing the same thing. He said he tried to use them for a while. It didn't really work out. He wasn't sure if they weren't here locally or they just weren't much use. So my question is, how do I show him or provide him value that I could actually help him, or what would you do? Next step.
So he wasn't excited to take the meeting. What was the sentiment after the meeting? Did he rush to finish, or?
So no, the actual meeting went actually really well. It was a Starbucks coffee, supposed to be 15 minutes, lasted close to an hour. He seemed positive, and of course he said if there was anything that I could help him or that he could help me with, he would he would answer any questions. It's not like it went horrible or it went south or anything like that. It was just kind of like, hey, that's great. Nice to meet you. Took the brochure, and we both went our separate ways. And that was a few weeks before Christmas, and I want to follow back up with him. And I'm just not sure. Like I said, the one that struck me kind of odd was that he said, look, I'm doing all this stuff, and I get paid for it. So I'm like, okay, you're somebody that I was supposed to seek out, and I met him by accident, but I'm not real sure how to provide him value now.
So my first question would be, do you have a flatline cost for a certain service? So like asset disposition, like real property disposition. And is he just going into QuickBooks and saying that usually takes me 3 hours, so I'm going to charge $600 for that? Like, if that's the case, then you could show him how using you could expedite the service, and he could bill the same amount of hours if he's billing flat rate. Is there a cap? What state are you in?
Maryland.
Do you know if there's a cap on what a probate attorney can earn there?
So it's based on the size of the. It's based on the size of the estate, I believe. I also believe it. No, I don't know this to be true. If it's different, if it's court appointed PR, or if it's you get your own attorney, it can be 2% of like the first. If you get your own attorney, it's 2% of the first $50,000, and then 7% up to a certain to a certain amount. But I do know that he said he bills $250 an hour to the estate when he does the work, no matter what it is.
Right. So I would imagine there is a cap. There is in most states. I don't know about Maryland, but I would familiarize yourself with that and look. So let's just say, for the sake of the conversation, he has a $5,000 cap, so he can only bill up to that point. Now, if he has to spend more time answering questions or dealing with getting houses cleaned out and getting stuff taken care of, then there could be the potential for you to get things done quicker, and he can still bill up to the cap. And instead of not making money for any excess time, it would be you could participate and make money in a different way. So he's getting billable hours, you're getting paid on a commission. I guess what I would do is I would reconnect with him and say, listen, thanks so much for meeting. I've had a couple of days to digest our conversation, and I've taken the time to sit down and kind of write everything that we can do to help. And I'd like for you to look at it and see, just give me an honest opinion. Is there any value to you in me doing those services versus you? And I don't, it's up to you to go ahead and bill for those however you normally bill. But if I can find a way to help you and monetize it independently, such as a real estate commission, can we work together? This is unusual. I will say I've coached a lot of folks on the West Coast who are part of fiduciary groups, and they go to monthly meetings, and the fiduciaries send them referrals. And the sentiment is usually like it's about the same as an attorney. They're like, oh, my gosh, you do all of that? You're my best friend. And usually they're really excited to meet our folks. California has more restrictions on how much people can earn during the process, but I would the better you understand how he charges and what his day-to-day responsibilities are on a case, even if, like, one thing I would ask for, even if he can blackline it so you don't know which case it was, if he could, blackline a previous case that he's worked from beginning to end and you could look at it, then you could kind of understand his workflow, understand how he gets paid, understand how many hours it's taking him to accomplish something. So, for example, if he has, 50 hours to sell a house, well, damn well we can do that in 20, right? Of real work, it's probably 20 hours. So if he can still bill for 50 and you can get a listing and get it done in 20, then there's value there for both of you, right? So I would just look at, the better you understand exactly how he looks at his business, the quicker you'll see how you can be valuable to him. So I would just try to reconnect and have that conversation and say, here's the ways that I can help. Which of these do you think we can work together on? Because so he has like moving companies. He has clean out crews, construction crews. He's doing all that, or he's just liquidating.
Yeah. So I literally asked him that, and he said, he has a list of them, but what he does is he does not fix up properties. He has no interest in that. And I did ask him. I'm like, well, do you have? Because I also know that he does guardianships, right? So he looked. I'll tell you a story, but he looked haggard, like he was being run to death. So that was like, all right. He said he just came from dropping off money to one of his clients, and I'm like, they don't come to your office. He's like, oh, I would never have them come to my office. So they don't. So they don't know where. So they don't know where his office is because to give the
sounds like he might be billing, probably billing for gas mileage and car allowance. Yeah, it sounds like an unusual case. It really does. And I don't mean to cut you off. We got like 7 more people in the queue. But if you want to talk about it a little bit off the call, just send us an email, and we'll, Chad and you can have a private conversation, kind of finish it up. And I think I agree with what Chad said. I think that's the first time we've ever heard that before. So I wouldn't say you have a greedy attorney, but you definitely have one that's trying to maximize their income.
All right. I do have a second question if it's related.
Sure. No.
Sort of related.
Yeah, go ahead.
On it. Okay. So I had a lead come in that said he needed an attorney because he literally had his sister and him both filed to be a PR, so that triggered a court hearing, and he needed to be represented. I sent him over to the attorney. The attorney said, I can't handle it, but this is what you need to do. You need to go there, tell him you are seeking an attorney at this time, and they'll take it from there. Well, I looked up in the court records. He had the hearing, and I have not followed up with him yet because the judge appointed a PR for the estate. So, and of course, it was a different name than the guy we just talked about. At least I have another one of those names. So now I'm stuck. I'm not real sure. I don't want to call him up until I know which way to go, knowing that he's not the PR. That's my only contact through the whole estate, knowing that the judge appointed a PR or guardian over the estate. What would you do next?
So you know that the public administrator was appointed, but you don't have the contact information for them.
So I Googled. I can find him. I have his name, and obviously I can find him because he's an attorney. Yeah, I could find him and find his contact information, but I did not follow up.
The first thing I would do is call him and say, listen, I was talking to Jane and John Doe. It looks like things kind of went sideways, so I wanted to introduce myself, let you know, the service I was offering to help them will also help you help them. Would you have 5 minutes to grab coffee today? And see if you can have the same appointment that you had with the other guy, but you're talking about a live, relevant, a deal right now that you have some association with. And I think you'll find, I think that you're going to find that not every public administrator is like the one you've already met with. I think that's an unusual experience, and most of them are going to want to work with you and want your help. It sounds like that guy might have been a little frazzled and probably not the right partner, not someone that's going to be a good partner anyways. But I would certainly try to meet with the public administrator as soon as possible, if you can track him down. And because we have folks that are making well over $1 million a year. They're only getting $30 or 30 leads a month out west, but they're getting so many referrals from attorneys and fiduciaries or public administrators that on 30 leads a month they can net over $1 million. So you want to meet as many of those folks as you can, and since you've already had contact with the petitioners and they didn't become the administrators, you've got a good end for that conversation.
All right, excellent, thank you. And if you want
the situation.
Perfect. Yeah, if you want to discuss it more, please, we can talk more off the call. I just want to make sure we get to everyone today. Next up is phone number ending in 1144. You're up next.
Jim, it's Joe Lehman again. I did not get the phone number you gave earlier, 954 something.
954-400-3500.
Thank you so much. I'm done.
Okay, no problem. Next up, phone number ending in 0899. You're up next.
Yes, hello. My name is Justin out of Texas, and I am an investor, not an agent, and had some interest in the 3-day course, the paid 3-day training course next month. So my question really is to find out, as an investor, I want to be able to give value to the executor other than just saying, hi, my name's Justin, and I want to pay you for your house. I want to buy your house. And is that something I can expect to learn and get a better knowledge of through that course?
Yeah, so Mastery is designed for real estate professionals, whether you're an investor or an agent or a broker. And we had, I would say in this last class, we had probably 30% investors, 70% brokers or agents. But we kind of cross-train everybody. If what we teach is don't be a realtor, don't be an investor, be a probate expert or probate specialist, or we've got a team of people here that help families in probate. Whatever that label is, it's different than what anyone else is saying. It's like your marketing pieces just look completely different. And we've got dozens upon dozens of stories to reinforce that. Like people say, you're the only person I called because you offered so much, or what you were saying is so different. So Mastery that's the common thread of Mastery. Now we cover everything from the basics of how to list a house and sell it all the way to how to get into really kind of complex creative financing, even to the point where we teach you to joint venture with the estate to flip the house and do a profit share. So we talk about investment and brokerage. And the course it ranges anywhere from 7 to 9.5 hours, because at the end we do an interactive, Q&A. So if you wanted to sign up now instead of waiting, the class we just finished is probably the best one I've ever done. I'll send you those recordings now, and then we'll register you for the live February class. And you can come there live, or if you watch the recordings and you need to work one-on-one, you and I can set up a time and just work on your stuff one-on-one. But we had probably more investment-specific questions and discussions and scenarios in this class than we've had in previous. But I've had both. I've had a lot of investors and a lot of realtors take it, and everybody that I've talked to got a lot more than they expected, especially for $250. So I think we'll teach you how to get clear on what it is you're going to offer, how to find the people that can help you with that, so you don't have to do really any more work than you already do, and how to monetize it in multiple ways. And then session 3, we really focus on how to get these conversations started, little tips and tricks to keep them and get them engaged, keep them engaged, even down to I'll show you exactly how I approach my appointments, not as a realtor or a buyer, but how I approach it, focusing on the people. And then based on the conversation, it branches off, and then we lean more toward one direction or the other. But I'll show you how to get them to self-select the cash offer, for example. So if you know that it's a cash offer, but they don't quite realize it yet, I'll show you some of the tricks that we've used to get people to very quickly agree to a cash price if it's in their best interest. So, short answer, you'll get what you need. You can go ahead and sign up. If you go sign up today, I'll send you the recordings from January, and you'll also be welcome to any live class in the future as many times as you want to come.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate that.
All right.
I appreciate your time.
Welcome, sir. Appreciate your question. We have 3 more in the queue, guys. Perfect timing. Next up is phone number ending in 6248. You're up next.
Good morning. It's Joyce from Orange County, California. And
hey, Joyce.
I am the one that's taken your your mastery training 6 times. And I want to be tell you that after 6 times, I learned 6 times as much, because you have new stuff every time. But what I wanted to ask a question on is, I'm part of the original LeadFollow group, and I think I don't know what to look for, but I see no change in my website, and I haven't had any calls, or I don't know quite what to do with what I've had for a couple months.
Right. So you're not going to see changes to your website. We are actually driving the traffic to a conversational landing page that looks a little more, it looks more like a chat than it does a landing page. So they come in, they see a branded landing page with your information, and we start the conversation the way we know, basically the way we teach you guys to do it on the phone. We're having that conversation on the web. Not everybody will convert. You've seen you've been on a website in the last 6 months where it pops up and says, would you like to allow or not allow all the whoever to contact you? If you click allow, that allows us to grab their physical address, and we'll actually send you a text message and an email with their physical address saying, this person was on your website, they didn't complete the form, but they live at 123 Walnut Street. And that way you can know which of your leads were actually there. If you're not seeing that stuff, it's because it hasn't happened on your particular ad set just yet. At the end of the campaign, we're working on better reporting. So in the next probably 2 weeks, but to be safe, I'll say the next 30 days, we're building a whole new standalone platform where you'll be able to log in and see in real time, you'll be able to see all the metrics of your ads. And we're going to do tonight, actually, we're going to shoot videos to help you understand what that means, because traffic is valuable. Even if it doesn't become a lead in this type of marketing, it's a branding impression. So when people are seeing your face or your logo or your ads, but somewhere between 5 and 25 times a day is the frequency right now, then they're far more likely to return your phone call, call you off of a letter, recognize your website, things like that. So just because you don't have the hot lead alert, meaning somebody filled out the whole form and you get a text and a email immediately, just because you're not seeing those doesn't mean it wasn't an effective campaign for the amount of money you spent. So you might spend $150 and you got, 100 people on your list to look at your stuff 10 times each day. So there's some value to that. And we're going to try to help. We will do a better job with the reporting and helping you understand why that's valuable. Like for me, I can look at a spreadsheet and I'm like, wow, this campaign's rocking. But for the average person who hasn't spent 10,000 hours staring at reports, it doesn't seem to make much sense to you. So that's the direction we're headed. For right now, we watch the ad sets daily, and everything. If anything's not, we kind of have red flags. So if we feel like we're wasting money, then we step in and change things. And so everybody's campaigns are optimized in real time. But we aren't doing a great job at the reporting just yet. But give us a couple weeks and we'll have some really neat tools where you'll actually be able to click a link and you'll be logged into a dashboard that says you spent X amount of dollars, which resulted in this many impressions. This is how many times a day people see your ads, and here's how many leads you've gotten. And we're also starting to test adding your phone number to the ads, or not your phone number, a phone number assigned to you. So we can even track the phone calls that come off of your ads. So, and if you want specifics, if you didn't see the report at the end of the beta test, we did send reports. But if you somehow missed that, you can email support and say, Joyce needs a LeadFollow report on her campaigns, and we'll pull those for you.
Okay, how can I go to the landing page on the web?
We would have to send you the unique link for yours. Everyone's is different. It's not going to be on your probate website. It's going to be a standalone that's running off of a whole different, it's running off of our ad platform.
Okay. So
you can see an example of kind of how it works. If you go to alltheleads.com/LeadFollow and then scroll down into the frequently asked questions, it's like, what does a conversational landing page look like, I think is the question. And there's a couple of examples there.
Okay, I'll try that. Because
all right.
To help me understand what I signed up for and what I should be doing to utilize this, I'd be grateful.
Yeah, and Joyce, if you just want to call in and ask for Cindy and have her look at your account, she can probably help you quicker than that. That will be the fastest way to get the answers you need.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joyce. Next up is phone number ending in 2686. You're up next.
Hi, Chad. My name is Alice. I'm from Texas, and we got your system back in May, and we just started making phone calls, and I have a couple of questions. So I wanted to ask, today I was on a phone call, and I actually connected with the personal rep. And when I connected, he said, well, my brother and I are the ones that are handling this. And I said, okay. So he said, now, why are you calling? So I went through the whole script, letting him know that we have a list of professionals that can help through the probate process. And he was impressed, but he said, you know what, I'm at work. I can't really talk right now, and I need to talk to my brother. So I was going to ask you, how can I better handle something like that? Because now I'm thinking he's probably not going to even call me back. He's going to forget about it. It's been a long day. So how would you handle this?
The second that he said I'm at work and I can't talk, I would have been like, sure, completely understand. Let me get your brother's cell phone number, and I obviously have yours, and I'm going to text you guys a link to a calendar invite for 6 o'clock this evening. And then don't ask. Just tell him what you're going to do. And then jump on a conference call with the two of them after work. So defeat the excuse, or, defeat the objection. I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'll comply with that right now, but here's what we're going to do. And just say, we're going to, whether it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, just say, I'll send the conference line to both of your phones. Just simply click that number and call, and we'll talk this evening. And then wrap it up and let him get back to work. And if they don't show up, then there's a whole different entry point tomorrow. But chances are they will show up. If he engaged with you, he saw value in what you were offering. So I would just try to set the appointment and give him his space, and then re-enter at 6 o'clock. And when they call back to say, listen, I'm sorry to bother you at work today. I know you guys are really busy. This should only take 15 minutes or less. And then just go into it and say, well, let me catch you up to speed, brother. Here's what we talked about today. He did say that you're making these decisions together, so made sure we didn't talk about anything that that excluded you. And here's what we do. It really starts with us understanding your situation and your goals, and we like to do that face to face because when we can see the situation, we can be way more effective. So I've got one spot on Friday. Would that work for you? And go for the face-to-face appointment. And then once you get that face-to-face, even if it's tentative, even if they say, well, I don't know, we got to talk to our wives. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to give you that spot. Just do me a favor, call me back by Wednesday night if you can't make it. Otherwise, I'll plan on being there. And by the way, can you answer a few questions for me before we jump off so I can do my homework? We're going to do 2-3 hours of research because we are going to be giving you multiple options, which are ranging, wide ranging. So have you got just a few more minutes? Okay, great. Then talk about real estate. So you're focusing on him and his brother and their situation and their time issues. You're making it easy for them, and you're not talking about real estate at all. And then you'll segue into that. Well, the biggest challenge for most families is figuring out what to do with the real estate. So let's talk about that first. Do you have a plan for it? Tell me about the details, the condition, the finances, and just follow the probate seller interview sheet from that point. But I think that should work for you.
Okay.
Alice, I wanted to just comment real quick too. You said you've been with us 6 or 7 months and you're just starting to make the calls. Congratulations on not giving up. I wouldn't encourage anybody else to wait 6 or 7 months, but I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised how many of these leads are still good. Probate leads season very well. And the nice thing about these older leads, a lot of them are going to be sold, but the ones that aren't, like the guy you talked to, are going to be ready to do something now. So congratulations on not giving up and getting started, and please let us help you if there's anything we can help you, do to help you get caught up.
Yes, sir. And then my husband, he's right here. He also has a question.
Hey, Chad, it's Kevin. We're husband and wife, Kevin and Alice. We were in your mastery class this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, good and the bad is, took a while to make some phone calls, but that's all right. So anyway, so I'm also, we split in our lead, so Alice does half, I'll do the other half. And I was on a call today. The guy didn't answer, but the lady did. She was sitting right next to him. Because she goes, yeah, his phone rang. I answered, so I'm like, all right, fine. She's real nice. The same old objection, yeah, we got it all handled like we talked about. So I went through that little script, and her reply still was, well, yeah, that's fine, but we still have it handled. And, at that point, obviously, I got kind of stumped. So my question really is, I went back and later looked, and it appears that they, I think it was his parents, that they still have a house. It is not sold, in other words. So my question really is, well, I don't want to go back and bother them anymore, but what would you think would be a good way and maybe an alternative time to go back and, check up on them and see how things are going and how to segue into that conversation?
Yeah. First, I'll point you back to the recording from yesterday. Go back and listen to the part where they're, to that objection where we role played it, and what I said about, repeat, like breaking their pattern. Listen to that a couple times so when it happens again, you'll have a better prepared response. If she didn't engage with the insurance thing, you could start by saying, like I recommended humor as an alternative. So that's funny. That's what my 10 best clients told me when we first met. you think you might be the next, and just shock her out of that pattern that she's found herself in. Because chances are she's talked to somebody that didn't see any real value in the offer, or they were trying to get her out of her comfort zone before she was ready and they didn't have rapport. So that's become her default. She knows that runs people off, right? So you can try humor as well if she didn't engage with the insurance. Now, re-engaging is even more difficult. You've got to find something of value. Did you identify, you said there is real estate. There's mom and dad's home. So you obviously know the address.
We did converse with that. I went and researched it.
Right. But you know that. So what you could do is prepare a property analysis, like do a market analysis on the property. If you can do a CMA or a market absorption analysis, and just act like the first conversation went really well. Do the research, figure out what you think the home is worth. I would, if it's not too far out of your way, maybe even drive by and to take a look. Is all the landscaping cared for, and does it look like there's personal property inside? Have they been there and done anything? The other reason she may be cold shouldering you is she could just be in probate quicksand, and she's just not ready to have the conversation, but she's too proud to admit that to a stranger. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just need, the better you understand it, the better you know how to communicate with her. But find some piece of value, and the market analysis is just one example. You can call and say, listen, we would charge no less than $200 for this level of analysis if we were doing a BPO. But I'm willing to offer it to you for free because I think you do need my help. I just think that you wanted to rush me off the phone the other day. And that's fine. I understand it. That's how most of our best clients, like a lot of our best clients, that our relationship started the same way. I get it. But I do want to make sure that you're taken care of. And here's just something that I think you're definitely going to find value in, that you probably need. And what's a good email address I could send this to? Or when's a good time we could meet up so I can hand it to you? And then see if she'll re-engage with you. And if she sees value in that and she wants it, she has to re-engage with you. And then there you can, start to open her up by asking good, emotional, open-ended questions. Like, well, what is the plan? And what you'll probably find is there's no plan, or there would be a sign in the yard. So it's probably she's not ready to deal with it yet. She's not going to admit it until she trusts you. And bringing her that value, whatever it ends up being, to reopen the conversation. Hopefully you can build some trust and then get the real story.
All right, sir. Does that help?
And then would you continue the letter? Because I've only sent one so far.
Yes, absolutely. That's one. The biggest reason we stretch these campaigns out over a minimum of 90 days is because of probate quicksand. Because some folks, they just put their head in the sand, and it's no different in short sales, foreclosures. Like, some people just put their head in the sand and just pretend it's not happening. And then eventually one day they have a breakthrough and they're like, okay, this happens today. And that's when you get the come list me calls. And Sam Bingham was on here last week talking about they're starting to see those now. Like, people hang on to the nature of the mail pieces we send, like, because it's a greeting card envelope and it's a different letter than they've ever gotten, they stick around. So it's very likely that one morning she'll wake up and something could have changed in her life, and she'll go straight to that letter, call you, and say, bring paperwork, this has to be done this week. And I've got dozens and dozens of those on the books. So I would certainly keep her on your mail list, but also try to reconnect with her with some kind of value that you know is going to be valuable to her today. And even if she has a real estate agent she knows and that's what she doesn't want to tell you, chances are they haven't done that proactively for her yet. So it's going to show well.
All right. We have one more in the queue, and I apologize, guys. We're going way over on the time today, but I don't like to leave any questions unanswered. We have one very patient person that's been in the queue for 45 minutes. Phone number ending in 8797. You're up last.
Hey, Tom and Chad. This is Rick from out west. I have a couple of LeadFollow questions. Kind of answered it with Joyce, but I understand that, like with the ISAs, there's one ISA per county or per area rather, for the agent. How does the LeadFollow work as far as, are these are the PRs getting my LeadFollow page along with other LeadFollow people in my county, or how does that work? And also, is there any way we can see, you kind of answered it with Joyce, but is there any way we could see what it looks like? Because we haven't had any response from it yet. It's like smoke and mirrors, we don't know we get a receipt and we get an example of the mails, but it's, with the Facebook, it's kind of like hocus pocus, hoping it's working.
Yeah, good question. So, and this is something I should have said, I guess, long ago, but I don't take it lightly, the amount of trust you guys put in us to throw down a credit card and say, manage my digital campaigns, when we're not doing a great job of showing you exactly what we're doing. That doesn't go unnoticed. Like, thank you for that trust, and it means a lot to us. And so we're getting better at reporting. We hear you loud and clear. It's the challenge is, if we send you the reports we look at, you're going to be like, what the hell is this? Like, how am I going to use this? It's not really that usable to you. So Ben and I have to find a way to basically translate that for you, so how you can understand how it's relevant in your business and why it makes sense to spend that extra $150, $300 a month. So we can do a better job. This is something we pushed out really quickly because it was something that we knew a lot of folks would want, and we're running as hard as we can. So we will do a better job for you. Thank you for your trust. If you ever really have to know, just call us and we can manually pull stuff and help you understand what's happening.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
Chad, quick question. So is there any reason that we couldn't simply send them? And there's a second question. He asked this, and the previous lady asked the same thing. Can't we be sending them a link to where their customers are going to go, so they would actually see what's going to happen on any of their particular customers when they come through? I'm sure that we can do that.
We could. I think what probably makes more sense is just set up a demo that everybody can go to the same link. So we're not. Yes, we can get you to an example of what they're seeing. For sure.
Yeah, we need to show it to them live, and I think that's really the critical point. And, he made the good point, and he was very charitable about saying it in an extremely nice way, but it does seem like smoke and mirrors if we can't show them what we're doing, and we're spending all this time, and, we got 6 people in here beating it to death, and we need to show them exactly what we're doing. So I think we'll take that on, and by this time next week, we'll have a much better answer, and anybody who's on this will have had the opportunity to avail themselves of that.
Yeah, by this time next week, you'll be able to log. By this time next week, you'll log in and you'll see a series of graphs and charts, and it'll be very clear what's happening. I was kind of talking about later today. So, yes, it's being addressed. That's a priority right now. The first question you had was about how many subscribers per county can use LeadFollow. And for anybody on the call, that's just to kind of get everybody on the same page. We made really the ethical call on letters and phone calls to only send one letter per county, one type of letter per county, or make phone calls for one subscriber per county. Because we know you're wasting money if you're sending the exact same letter as someone else, or if you're leaving the exact same phone message or using the exact same caller. With LeadFollow, it's a lot different, and we don't see it as an ethical concern because we're literally running hundreds of variations of ads. Even if you just narrow this conversation to just photo ads, we have hundreds of photos, hundreds of copy sets. Some are color, some are black and white. Some go to this landing page, some go to that landing page, and it's across hundreds of thousands of different websites and apps. So the likelihood of the same, there's just so much more surface area. Where we're sending one letter to one mailbox, there's not much surface area. We're making one phone call to one number. Where here we're projecting hundreds of ads across hundreds of thousands of places they could land. So it's not likely that it's less. It's more widely distributed, so we don't feel like it's a challenge, and we haven't actually seen that. So we do have areas where we've done it. We've run ads in the same market, and they're not necessarily competing. They're getting the same results because there's so many places they could be displayed. So just so you understand, if someone is on their phone playing a game like Candy Crush or Bejeweled, or they're on CNN.com or the Weather Channel, or they're on Facebook, or they're over on Instagram, or they're ordering auto parts, it doesn't matter. We're covering basically every place that we could possibly find traffic, we're covering. So anywhere they go, we're going to be there. So it's not quite, it's a lot more complex, obviously, than mail or phone calls, but we don't see a conflict of interest in running those ads because it's so widespread. We're not, concentrating everything into one point where you're directly competing with somebody doing the exact same thing.
All right. Well, guys, this is our longest call. I thank you so much. Almost everybody stayed to the end. I apologize for going over, but I think we got a lot of questions answered. We have some really good stories. We'll let you know next call who the winner of the week was. I think I know, but we'll talk about it. I always like to end these calls the same way, guys. Thank you so much for being here for almost an hour and 15 minutes. We appreciate you showing up, particularly appreciate those that participated. And I want to challenge each and every one of you, as I always do, take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you same time next Thursday.